What is going on, everyone, ladies and gentlemen? I am a digital artist, and this is not Draw Chat Chill. No, this is a quick review of Dragon Ball Superhero. Because if there's one thing that Dragon Ball Super or the lore needs is a new movie with a longer title. Um, just so I go ahead and let you guys know what's going on. First and foremost, I want to go ahead and let you know that as an anime fan, for decades, when it comes to Dragon Ball and its lore, I have had one foot in and one foot out. Let alone with not just Dragon Ball but anime itself. As I realized that I would like to do more American Western comics and promote that. And unfortunately, the American superhero movies industry and the movies that they show are not as good as this movie, which I consider a lower tier than Dragon Ball Super Broly. So, looking back, as it's been stated, that this movie released this weekend. I just got a chance to see it. Thursdays they do new releases on those days for theater release now. Just so that you know, Friday's the big day. We'll see how the numbers do, but we know that it's a Japan classic. For all anime fans, they will come out in droves to see it. The theater that I went to is fairly small, so there were very few people that went to see it, let alone that may know about Dragon Ball Super in the area. So with this movie, I'm going to go ahead and go over some of the explanations without spoiling too much, if anything at all. I'm going to go over some of the explanations that have been posted on things such as Wikipedia, IMDb, and Rotten Tomatoes, because these are the main sources that we know of. Not saying they're always right in how they present the information when it comes to movies and entertainment, but these are the sources that we have to work with until we go beyond and research it for ourselves, i.e. go see the movie for itself. So apparently this is the 21st Dragon Ball feature film overall, the fourth production by Toriyama's direct involvement, and the second to carry the Dragon Ball Super branding. The first to be produced mainly using 3D animation. There was a lot of that in this movie, and I will say that I enjoyed it. It reminded me more of the Dragon Ball Fighters fighting game that's out. It's been out for a while. I think though the graphics on that look even sharper than this movie. This movie probably had more of a taste of how Marvel's What If series, the way that the animation looked with that and the shading and thick lines. That's kind of what it reminded me of. Don't get me wrong, Dragon Ball Z in this movie definitely delivered with Dragon Ball Super and the lore is known for. One thing I will give credit to is that it respected the past. Everything, from Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z. That it did. It acknowledged the past wholeheartedly. However, there are some things that I thought was just so obvious, and also some things that you hope were going to happen because of what level that we've seen Dragon Ball Super Broly at as well. Now, unfortunately, in that movie, yes, they gave Super Broly a power level cap, which, of course, it only took two twin Super Saiyan Blues fused together to beat Super Broly, which is unfortunate, but that allowed him to continue throughout this Dragon Ball Super universe, which is kind of being rewritten while still acknowledging the past, still ignoring GT to some degree. Now, also, a really pretty interesting cameo. There was something mentioned in this movie that connected to Dragon Ball Fighters, the video game. So that might be a good treat for those that play the game, that know the Dragon Ball lore, whether it's Dragon Ball Z, not much GT, really not even mentioned in this movie at all, and Dragon Ball Super as we know it. So from what I can tell, and I'm a novice here, don't get me wrong, because I don't keep up with Dragon Ball, not like that, but I went and took the time to go see the movie so I could give my insight based on what I'm familiar with so far from it. Hey, what's going on, Anthony Savoy? It had a 3D feel to it too. Yes, sir. So did you get a chance to see it? I'll wait for him to respond. But basically, with this movie, you were hoping for a certain thing to happen, and it unfortunately fell through. And this is where I go back to the things that have been posted for this movie. On IMDb, they have it, the summary read as the Red Ribbon Army from Goku's past has returned with 2 new androids to challenge him and his friends. That summary is misleading. I will say that directly after seeing the movie firsthand. I won't say what part, enjoy it, but just understand that this movie did not hold the amount of anticipation and caliber that I was familiar with, and the talk and speculation surrounding this. So from what I see with the Dragon Ball Super movies and the series, is that they're kind of tying in like the way the MCU does. Of course, Japan apparently is doing it better, just as they are dominating in the manga sales department in American markets right now. That's a fact. We know that, and we know that the mainstream worst two are taking in manga sales into their comic book numbers as well, because they're not doing as good. This is a fact. That's why manga is taking over. If America produced a better product, which it is on the independent side of things, but if they were producing a better product on the mainstream, then we wouldn't have as much craving possibly for Japanese anime. Granted, I left Western comics back in the late 90s into the early 2000s to watch a lot of anime. And from like 2000 till 2016-ish, there was tons of great anime that I watched, enjoyed, and always will never forget. However, knowing that the style of art that I want to do, which has brought me back into Western comics. Now, aside from that, back to Dragon Ball Superhero, we resurrected the Red Ribbon Army, and there were hints of this movie. If you are somewhat acute in American Hollywood cinema and knowledge when it comes to action movies, superhero movies that are based with the characters we've come to know and love and grow up with, some of them are unfortunately being changed now. You could find a scene from almost every movie that has been known to be a big blockbuster or a classic scene. So, for example, we have androids in this movie. Take, for example, what's one of the most epic fights that we knew in the movies that stole from Dragon Ball Z at the time when it came to air combat. That would be the Matrix Revolutions. So, why not Japan, pay homage to some of that? Again, none of these are spoilers. Not yet. I want to see it soon, though. It is. Have you seen Dragon Ball Super Broly? If you haven't seen that, you should see that first before you see this. Now, as we have been introduced to these new androids, again, which is not a spoiler, it's in the subtext and the plot. Of course, Wikipedia has the entire plot broken down, but these new androids are the result of people from the past, as IMDb mentioned, from Goku's past in particular. Now, as a lot of American cinema, when it comes to superhero movies, have made it heir apparent, one of the key tropes that they've been doing over and over is saying that building up a villain, really that's misunderstood. That's not really that bad. Or maybe you haven't seen their side of the world that they have had to deal with, which has drawn them to the conclusion to be how they are. So that has been also incorporated into Dragon Ball Super, this movie, Superhero. And again, with some of the ideas that were in this, since let me make sure I pronounce his name right. To- Toriyama, Akira Toriyama. Um, since this had his direct involvement with it, there was something I found that was really interesting. Now, again, there was on Rotten Tomatoes right now, it stands at a 96% on the tomato meter. Audience is at 91%. And those are the folks that love Dragon Ball and they will give, their love for it. But from what I've seen with Dragon Ball Super lately, um, it's starting to become almost like a Disney standard now, and it's not something I'm too fond of. It reminds me a little bit too much of that, but there were clearly some misleading things from what the trailer had given, and from what has been mentioned in the summary. Whew, that's a lot. So, even bringing back past villains, I don't think really helped this movie that much. To me, in my opinion, and I know this is my opinion alone, this felt more like a My Hero Academia movie with Dragon Ball characters. So that's how I felt about it. They constantly pushed the concept of, being a hero, wanting to save people and based on your actions. XYZ is appears to be a hero. And for some reason, I guess this wasn't that big of a threat. And some characters got some upgrades. And again, to me, in my eyes, from a lot of the stuff that I've seen, it just reminds me too much of Marvel. Now, even in Dragon Ball Super, the series, there was a point where Gohan was rocking his Great Saiyaman theme, and he fought a Doomsday-like character from a human that got taken over by an alien worm, and it made him really huge, and they had their fight while he was shooting a movie. So that was the Great Saiyaman has had that kind of like alter ego paying homage to Superman concept constantly going. Let's see. I've seen Broly, and that was pretty good. Yeah, so again, if you want to see this movie, great. It's nowhere on the level of Super Dragon Ball Super Broly. It just isn't, not in my opinion, as far as epicness. Now, on another note, I will also say that with Dragon Ball, the way it has been lately, Super in particular, it seems like they make their versions of everybody else's characters or anime, and then they put them in. The Tournament of Power had their own team of Sailor Moon characters. There was a team of, Wolf characters, all these different characters. You had your own version of Ant-Man on there. So that's been the ongoing thing now. From what I understand, with these movies, they're building up a new team of allies to bring to the forefront, I guess like Earth's, top defense for a new threat. And I've been hearing over and over from those that read the manga and that follow Dragon Ball pretty close that they're going to build up and have a war between the good guys and these group of demons, because Whis is a main angel. And Lord Beerus did his thing as usual too, so that's no surprise there. But unfortunately, I was kind of disappointed from seeing Dragon Ball Super Broly and wanting to see that in the theater, but not being able to at the time. So that anime holds a very close place in my heart because it's awesome, even though they cheesed Broly down, which is nothing new. Goku is part of my top 4 or 5 worst characters that I can't stand because they're just too OP. That would be Goku, Wolverine, John Cena, Batman. I'll get to you about the last 2. So that's the kind of thing that's been going on. So General Piggy, what's up, sir? How you doing? Said I'm not too into the animation style of Dragon Ball superhero. It does seem interesting. It's okay. The 3D graphics was pretty amazing on some of the scenes. At one point, I had to ask myself, was I watching a Dragon Ball Super movie? But the superhero thing, as Shane Davis has even mentioned, which I'm sure you're familiar with, is that now, the mainstream American market, when it comes to superhero concepts, movies, and books, have become so far from the source material and from what we've come to know growing up and enjoying these characters, that even Japan can throw jabs on a regular basis, not just in the form of My Hero Academia, but also in movies like this, Dragon Ball Superhero. So that's pretty much where it's at. And I wasn't too impressed. Like I said, I don't watch anime as much as I used to. That should have no effect on whether or not I like this movie or not. The fights, of course, I've got to give credit. That's what Dragon Ball does in pure fashion. The fights were very detailed, and there are like all kinds of very specific moves that were highlighted. I thought it was pretty interesting. They were even throwing in wrestling moves like guillotine chokeholds, backbreaker, broken arrow suplexes, things like that. So it was pretty interesting. Did DB superhero actually build Piccolo up, or did they drag him down again? They did both. They did both, General Piggy. They actually absolutely 100% did both. It's really interesting because this seems like such a side story where maybe, I don't know, I guess it had to happen if these characters are going to make a significant impact later. And I'll probably mention it in a future stream in passing, but I don't want to spoil anything during this stream. It's just a quick review. Touchdown of what's happened so far with the movie. Like I said, the visuals were amazing. The fights were amazing. They had me sold on that. Some fights I hoped happened, didn't, which is fine. It's kind of tough to keep that level of Dragon Ball Super Broly going every movie. Some characters were not actually present during this movie. But however, we will have more, things going on. The interest that I did have about this was Broly's kind of take into all of this, as now he's a little more docile. He's got friends now, Goku, Vegeta, Lord Beerus, as we've seen in Dragon Ball Super Broly, at least toward the end, because he didn't die. Spoiler alert, but that's been out for a while, so hopefully you did see that. So I like Broly. I'm a big fan of Broly. Anybody but Goku. That's my whole key thing. Again, that goes back to things that I hoped happened. They did not. And, that kind of brought the movie down for me. So, long story short, I'd probably give it like, IMDb's giving it like a 7 out of 10. And, the audience giving it a 91%. I'd give this like a 5 out of 10. That's me, though. I'm pretty particular about stuff, and one thing I'm not a fan of is oversaturation of the market. So to see Dragon Ball, which I'm kind of off and on with as well, let's see, as long as it's not GT. Yeah, there is no mentioning of GT at all. They had some flashback scenes. GT was not in the building. So that's pretty much how that was. But even if you look at some of the posters, very misleading. As I mentioned, General Piggy in the beginning, IMDb summary was the Red Ribbon Army from Goku's past has returned with 2 new androids to challenge him and his friends. Totally misleading. So that kind of knocked down part of the movie once you realize certain things didn't happen. Nonetheless, the new androids, I did like them. They made them likable. So what more could you possibly argue with that? That's how the story was designed. Of course, you can't just join forces with people until you battle Seraph in his tea house to make sure you are the one, that kind of thing. So, yep. Yeah, I don't like Goku either. Well, it's tough because Goku, if he's there in a fighting scene, he ends up getting OP. He's gonna die. He's gonna regenerate or come back or make some fusion wishes to get back in the fight and all that kind of stuff. Me seeing Goku shot by a gun in Super, I thought that was great. It's like, hey, you can be the world's strongest fighter, but you still can't beat a bullet. I thought that was a great twist and turns, but I don't know how good the next Dragon Ball Super series, if they do another one, which from what I understand they are, but I don't know how much they can keep up. Dragon Ball Super was a great refresher. They changed a lot of things that the fans got tired of in the past and that they mentioned. So that's been a plus for a while. That's what has made Dragon Ball Super, that series, more likable. However, the constant use of American tropes, whether it be from superhero movies or whether it be just from Hollywood thrillers, being used automatically and easily, it seems like it requires almost no effort. So that's kind of like the tough thing for me to really. I don't swallow it. I don't really accept it. So that kind of takes down my joy of, or what's left of the joy that I have of Dragon Ball, kind of down the road. Now I will say this as I'm getting ready to wrap up. I see what you did in Dragon Ball Superhero. I saw what you did. And that went all the way back to the 1980s of another anime that told one of the greatest stories of all time. It may not be considered an anime, but due to studio connections to get funded, it had to be something. It had to be part of something that kind of took it out of its element. And Dragon Ball Superhero, I see what you did, incorporating a little bit of Yorosaka Doji. I saw it. And nobody can dispute or try to convince me otherwise. You already stole the God of Destruction concept, and I know where you got it from. Because back in the day, there were characters in an anime called Yorosaka Doji that resembled Saiyans, and they got whooped. So whether you got that original idea from that anime, or you just kind of trying to turn the tide and reverse it out of spite or whatever, I don't know. But using Yorosaka Doji concepts, it's already been some of the greatest stuff ever done. And for those who have seen it, aside from the stuff that was in it, it's literally almost every anime all in one series that's come out since the 90s to now. Like most anime are a variation from Yorosaka Doji. Whether it's martial arts in the dojo, killer demons, the great grand plan, gods choosing whether or not the earth lives or dies, cyborgs, samurais, it's ninjas, it's all there in that series. I was surprised that Goku didn't win the Tournament of Power. That was a good move. Yes, that was actually a redeeming factor for that series. Again, because we've seen Goku do it all, literally. As the constant battle between whether Superman would win or Goku would win if they fought. While that continues, the greatest cheat is that you can always change Goku's hair to yet another level, and then he'll be deemed, even more powerful than ever before. That stuff's for me, that's kind of played out, but knowing that there were some unbeatable villains in the Dragon Ball Super TV series, or the series, that was pretty cool. So for this, I don't watch anime much. This is a treat. This is probably the first new anime that I've seen in years. A couple weeks ago, I popped in the collection series DVDs of Go Danner, which is a Japanese anime that was stolen by America to make Pacific Rim. And the first one was great. The first Pacific Rim, absolutely phenomenal. Obviously, some aspects from Go Danner were not in it. However, the second Pacific Rim, absolute garbage. Right in the toilet. Flush it, And I will be talking about a review on Bullet Train. I don't know if that's been out for a while, so I may be a little more expansive on that. But to my knowledge, hey, if you want to see Dragon Ball superhero, be my guest. I mean, like I said, the visuals are bedazzling, the fights are great, but there was potential for so much more, which was kind of disappointing. So this was more of a side movie than like as good or as important to me as Dragon Ball Super Broly or Battle of the Gods. Any of those. Absolutely brutal. So that's all I got. Let's see. I'm just worried for purple hair Goku. Oh yeah, it's SJW Goku. Which thankfully none of that was in this movie, from what I could tell. It was clean, clear. Even though they use a lot of hero tropes, there is no SJW stuff that I felt I saw in this movie. So that was good. I can't knock it for that, but still, for the stakes being as high as they are, I expect a little bit more. In fact, the androids, they also remind me of what's that series called? I'm gonna look it up too before I go. There's a series called to deal with androids, and I'm gonna find it. I forgot what it was called, but they reminded me of these androids as well, and I was like, wait a minute. But that's one of the key things I did mention earlier. A lot of these new characters that are being introduced in the multiverses of Dragon Ball Super lore are now, they're like Dragon Ball's version, Toriyama's version of everybody else's characters. So I guess you can say that's cool. I don't think that's creative, and to each their own at that point. I'm seriously looking for this and I can't find it. Yeah, it's pretty good. Have to check. Yeah. Yeah, there's some Android series I remember, and they all wore, it was a whole team, and they wore red. And the animation was okay, it wasn't the greatest. I'll mention it some other time. But I think that's it. I think that is about it. All I have for you guys. Cutting the stream kind of short because this is just meant to be a review, nothing major. I may be on somebody else's stream later. I don't know. I'll check with them and see if they're still doing it. But if not, I get to draw all night. Oh yeah, Astro Boy 2. That's another concept that's kind of like in here with these androids. A little bit of Astro Boy. A little hint of Outlaw Star also. You gotta hype up. If we're using guns and death rays, we gotta hype up the concept of the caster. But it was alright. So like I said, that's all I pretty much got. Ladies and gents, thanks for everybody that stopped by, and that's kind of messing with my mind now with that Android series that I can't remember what it is. Even Amazon Prime, they got a season of it as well. But it's gonna bother me until I find it, and then when I find it, I'm like, here you go. So that'll be it in passing. Hopefully, it's a shame because Marvel's side of animation has been almost non-existent. Here and there movies, animated movies, and DC has just come out with so much stuff. They don't even have to try. That's what you get. That's why you got your lead feminist Harley Quinn leading the charge with her own show. Who cares about Batman? Harley Quinn's in the forefront. She gets her own show. Great. Haven't watched it. Not looking to watch it neither. So that's my thing. Kind of like how WWE was back in the day. When you don't have competition, you got room to make mistakes because you own the market. That's kind of how I meant that in regards to the Dragon Ball stuff. Yeah, they can snatch superhero concepts all day. Sure, you had a little bit hint of Hydra in there too. I mean, that's not hard to do. So, at this point, it seemed like it was just like, hey, here's a jigsaw puzzle, and let's just use these pieces that, have already previously been established and just put it in the movie. It was alright. Not too creative. I'm keen on creativity. Alright, I don't want to waste too much time because I'm going to go ahead and get back to drawing. And will I be on tomorrow? I may be on tomorrow. I'll definitely be on Saturday. So if I'm on tomorrow, I got to be held accountable for Saturday, huh? That's how we're doing this. We're rocking this all the way through. So thanks for stopping by. I'm going to go ahead and get the heck out of here. Remember to keep it Omni. I'm Rob Wilson, your friendly neighborhood artist. And God bless America, because we really, 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 really do need it. Y'all take care. Have a good one.